Hello, hello. My name is Linda, also known as Tortajala around the internet. I love creative journaling and all things stationery. And today I'm sharing a very casual journal with me video so you can see how I set up my monthly bullet journal spreads using printable papers. This year I'm basically using this A5 Notebook Therapy bullet journal for creating high level monthly spreads that give me like my currently highlights type of information for the purposes of memory keeping. I just think it would be really cool to be able to flip through like a whole year in just a handful of pages and get that overview of my year. So I'm using the printables from my Ko-fi feed. I post monthly printables for my members there, so go and check that out if you're interested. These are the printable papers for April, which is all based around floral designs. I've definitely very much been in the mood of florals lately and using them as inspiration and motivation. There's nothing like seeing pretty florals to cheer yourself up, basically. So, usually I print out all the paper designs, two on a page, and just trim off the white excess, and so it fits nicely onto my A5 pages in the journal. Now, if you wanted to cover up your entire A5 journal page, then you'd probably have to print out the design full page so you'll have more of it to cover more area and then trim to size. The great thing about digital printables is that once you have the digital file, you can print it at any size and as many copies as you need. So I feel like digital printables are super budget friendly and economical, and they save space because it's just, files on your computer. So you're basically going to have like your own repository of pretty papers and designs to go to when you want to journal or create any kind of like paper crafting project. So I'm just going to trim out all of the papers I have printed out, as well as the coordinating journaling cards that are also on my Ko-fi for members. If you're a supporter, you'll basically get like an art print, six digital papers, and a set of journaling card printables every single month and occasional bonuses. And when you sign up, you basically have access to everything in the archive. So there's hundreds of printables already on my Ko-fi. Now, if you're not into joining any kind of membership kind of thing, I totally get that. You can visit my blog at tortajala.com. I've been sharing free printables there for like so many years, and I have shared paper crafting projects, but mostly pattern paper printables because I feel like they are the most versatile journaling supply. With a pretty paper design, you can print it out and basically use it for any project that you are working on, whether it's a journal, making cards, decorating your planners, making dashboards, or like making gift bags, wrapping small gifts. There's really like no limitation when it comes to pretty paper. So many options and so many projects to create with. So I continue to post totally free printables on my blog ongoing, so you can follow me there as well. If you want to try out digital printables, there are many, many freebies online that you can find to start out with. And if you don't have a printer at home, I always tell people that you can send files to be printed at a local shop or use like your local library or other resources where you get some like free color printouts. So there's definitely ways to like get a few prints, like a few pages here and there, and it's not like a huge cost. So back to my bullet journal setup. Basically, every month I set up two spreads that will hold all my high level memory keeping stats that I write in at the end of the month to create the summary of my month. And I decided to use like some creamy colored type of journaling cards um, on every single month. They're titled and labeled at top to keep things consistent. So I'm logging my currently, my highlights, good job, accomplishments, and let's try thoughts moving forward. So that makes it so that it's very consistent every month, like what I'm writing down, like actually logging. So all of these pages definitely look like they go together, even if month to month the decoration is different. So these journaling cards are actually freebies in my Ko-fi shop. So you can go there and check them out if you're interested. There are two pages in the printable. The first one has the titles like currently highlights good job and let's try, or you can use the second page which are completely blank so you could title it yourself or create, something different for your deco. But once I have all my printables trimmed out, I basically look through and decide what I want to use for my spreads. I really do love floral papers in general, so this month there's like a lot to choose from, and it was definitely hard to decide which one I wanted to use. Usually it's just trial and error, like laying them down and seeing if the colors go together and what I prefer. Obviously, there is no right or wrong. You just do whatever it is that you prefer. So just mixing and matching and seeing what I like best before I glue the whole paper down onto the journal page. I'm really not doing anything complicated. I want to sort of keep these bullet journal pages very straightforward. So I'm using almost like the same kind of design layout where the pattern paper is like the background for the entire page. And of course, you can crop them or tear them if you want a different kind of layout or a different effect. But because I like these designs so much, I sort of wanted to use them full page. And even if some parts will be covered up, I just wanted as much as possible to be seen so that I could showcase the designs themselves because I really, really do love all the florals. By the way, if you will be layering or covering up parts of papers when you are journaling and creating your projects, one way to save paper and really stretch your supplies is to actually cut out the part that will be covered up in the layering because you won't see it anyway. So if you cut off that part, you can actually use it somewhere else, right? I know that in the scrapbooking world, sometimes we do that when we layer multiple sheets of cardstock, also because we want to reduce the bulk of the pages. But basically, you only need to show the part that is seen, like a frame of multiple papers, and then the center could be completely cut out. Like any overlapping parts will basically be trimmed off so that you could use it elsewhere. So I am actually going to do that just to show you as an example. And again, that just makes it so that you have more material to use in other places and you're really making use of all of your supplies and reducing the bulk on your pages as well, because I know our journals sometimes can get really, really chunky. So sometimes doing this is actually very helpful because week to week, page to page, just reducing that little bit can make all the difference. By the way, I do have videos for every single month of my bullet journal setup. So if you're interested, you can go back and check out my previous videos so they could see the spreads that I have already created. And I always say, generally, I am very maximalist in terms of my journaling because I like to fill up the page and use a lot of supplies. And I suppose for some people it might seem a little chaotic or maybe a bit too much, but I always want to impress the fact that there is no right or wrong in journaling. Really, it's about the process of creating, moving your hands, and doing the things that is the most important. So, whatever it is that you prefer or you like, it's perfectly fine. Whenever I see people who create minimalist pages, I really do appreciate them and admire the look of those very clean pages, but I can't seem to do that myself. I very much like using all the patterns, all the supplies, all the stickers, and naturally I will just find myself wanting to add like another thing. So when it comes to journaling, I let myself do that. I let myself be unhinged in every way. This is a safe space where I can create whatever I want, however I want. There are no rules. And I think ultimately that is the great thing about journaling and getting creative with like papers and notebooks and stickers, just playing. And even though I have this project in mind where I'm creating monthly pages to document my life and like the highlights, there is an end goal in mind. But the process of doing this monthly, taking the time to think about the month that has passed, and also giving myself time to slow down and play with supplies and papers and create something around those thoughts, I think it's the process that is even more important than the documentation that is done at the end. Because, of course, you could also document that in a bunch of bullet points, like in the Notes app of your phone, right? Like there are other ways to do it that are even faster and easier. So, generally, I think that I don't think that I am the only one feeling a lot of anxiety and uncertainty these days. And I think generally there's a lot of stress in our bodies, no doubt. So it might seem silly to just be journaling and playing with paper, but honestly, it is cheap therapy. Doing these things is a huge stress reliever, and having some kind of project like this monthly check in, the regular intervals, I think it just keeps me grounded. Like you sort of have this thing that you know you are going to do, and that just sort of helps you to keep moving forward. So that's how it sort of feels to me. And after these past months, I feel that I've taken this exercise, this project. It's really nice that I have it as a habit, and I want to continue sharing with you and sort of like journal together during this time because I think that that is the cool thing about journal with me videos in general. It's sort of like hanging out with like minded, crafty people, just creating, journaling, playing, getting that downtime together. So I hope you are able to relax and get some journaling downtime as well, and work on whatever project that you might be working on, or just play or write or doodle in a journal. Um, Whatever it is that you would like to do, I think that it is valid and it is good for you, and we should take the time for those things that bring us joy. So for these journaling pages, I'm going to leave my journaling cards loose right now because I fill in the journaling and do the final decorations after the month is actually over, just to make sure I have enough space for all the highlights I'm going to like list out. So I will decorate a little bit. I'm using like stickers and things from, I think, coffee stickers from Amazon. Um, decorate a little, but mostly I leave things loose just to make sure when I actually have my list at the end of the month and write in the items, I have enough space for everything and it all fits. And that is my, um, those are my pages for my April bullet journal. I thank you so much for watching and joining me here. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to, please subscribe to see more stationery videos. I very much appreciate you being here. I hope you have a very lovely day. And until next time, bye.